Good evening and welcome to Speaker Club's Inner Circles open mic session, the last Friday of every month. Yet another month, yet another last Friday, and today we have another special theme for today's meeting. And the theme is all about what's your story? We all have experienced ages of wisdom, follow through from years and ages ago to even today, all through not by facts and figures, but in the form of stories. I think history, as we know, to a large extent, is accumulation of all the stories that we know of the past, more than anything abstract. So when you look at the details, you might not remember things. But if you look at the stories, they are far more impactful and far more deeper in how we are influenced by the stories. And stories, because they bring in a lot of emotions, the characters and the narratives that they build, are a great form of passing forward ideas and information and insights about what you have got in your life. And that's what we are going to do. We are going to be doing today in this meeting. What's your story with this special theme? What we're looking for is stories about your life. It could be something that you have experienced and you have lived, or it could be a story that you have heard and it has influenced you, it has changed you, it has motivated you. It could be any story that has made an impact in your life. And somewhere, even today, when you look back, probably that is one story that changed your life, that has provided a meaning to your life and provided a different direction to your life, all because of that one story. So that's the theme for today. Looking forward to listening to some inspiring stories, some stories of change, some stories of memories, some stories that have made you who you are today. With that, let's move in to the first speaker who we have today. Who would go first among the members? I would request anyone who would like to start with the first speech for today. Else I'll go back to the usual one. And that'll be Poonam. I'm giving it a break, Uman. Let's go with Poonam today, and then we can go ahead with the other speakers as well. Poonam? Okay, I will be having the timer card, and the time limit is 3 to 4 minutes because we have lesser number of members. We can still use the time judiciously. But let's hope more people join in, and as they progress, we will be sticking to the timelines. 3 to 4 minutes is the time that you got. Poonam, the stage is yours. One second. One second. Let me do it the stopwatch wise. Yeah, the stage is yours.
My life took U-turn when exactly on 26th September 2022. How? I'll tell you. That was the day I joined Toastmaster. Yes, you heard me right. That was the day I joined Toastmaster. I thought going on stage and giving the speech is just a piece of cake for me, just a child's play. I went there and I started. But the moment I started, I was like deer in the headlight, completely numb. I couldn't utter a single word. I was embarrassed, yes. But something sif- shifted in my heart. And I talked to myself. I said, I won't leave it. I'll come next time. I have to come next time. I worked hard. I burned midnight oil. Yes. And next year, I got the opportunity to be the president of the club. I wanted to grab the opportunity, but before 2 days of being the president, I lost my appetite. I lost my sleep. I couldn't sleep at night, and I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I was just reflecting, I was just brooding over, and all of a sudden, my mother-in-law came and she said, "What happened? Why are you sitting like this?" I I shared my dilemma with her, and she said, why so much tension? Live it, enjoy your life, don't take so much tension. I said, yeah. Then I woke up my husband and I told everything to him. And he was like, Poonam, this is like 4 in the morning and you are saying all these things? Look, you are becoming the president of Toastmaster, not the president of Nepal. I said, yeah, you are right, please sleep. Then that day I thought they are saying, leave it. But I have worked hard for this place. I really want to grab the opportunity. But internally, I know where I am. And now, after 1 year of taking that post, I look back and I feel like if I had not given that chance to me, if I had feared and not taken this responsibility, I would have missed something important. I would have like blamed myself throughout my life, my whole life. But yes, that day I showed courage. I took the post, and now today I'm thriving, I'm enjoying my life. It's not that I'm not failing. Every time I fail, I rise up. I found myself quite resilient. So, this is my story. Over to you, Rahul sir.
Thank you, Poonam. That was a interesting take and an interesting narrative that you built from the experiences that you had of what really changed your life. Wonderful. Great to hear that. Who would like to go next? Ma'am? Sure.
How many of you believe that you have to be?
A bit louder, ma'am.
I think
I think you'll have to take the mic closer or something. Can you speak
how is it
once?
now? Better?
Still low, still low.
The sound is almost 100%. I
No,
don't know
no,
why.
that is the output sound. You'll have to go closer to the mic or where's your output? Can you speak?
Hello?
Yeah, audible now.
Okay.
I think,
Better now?
yeah, better now.
Okay.
The stage is yours, man.
How many of you believe that you have to be grateful for all the blessings that you have? All the parts of your body, the beautiful house that you have, the clothes, your relationships, and everything in life. Please raise your hands. Thank you. Thank you for that. I would like to tell you about my friend Girija, who is around 65 years old, and she was a beacon of strength and support to everyone around her. She has been a close friend of mine, and I always look up to her for any problems in my life, and she has been around me for all my uh, good during my good and bad times. It so happened that on July 12th, 2024, just 3 months back, she met with an accident when she was riding a two-wheeler. Girija is an enthusiastic, active person who is there for everyone. And now she is in a state where she cannot recognize anyone. Her husband takes care of her like a child. She's not able to recognize anyone. And I just met her. I have met her 2 times now. And the last week when I met her, or maybe just a couple of days back, she has opened her eyes now. She underwent a cranial surgery, but she looks around, but she's not able to recognize or find that old Girija. We can't see that old Girija at all. She is just moving her eyes, but no recognition of people around her. So when I saw that, I just I was just wondering what life is. We are blessed with so many things, but we take everything for granted. And even the movement of our eyes, the movement of our hands, legs, everything, we take it for granted. And we keep cribbing for small things. But only when you go to a hospital and when you see your friends and whoever your close relative is suffering like that, you find that we have to count our blessings. How many of you think that we are blessed? So today I would like each one of you to ponder and make a list of the number of blessings that you have, because life itself is a great gift. And we just while away the time that we have thinking that we don't have this, we don't have that. But when I see Girija today, I remember how blessed we are. And her husband takes care of her so well, with the hope that he will get her back one day in consciousness and that she will recognize him. Yes, friends, what we have, the life itself, is the greatest gift, and let us cherish that and count our blessings and move forward by being a helping hand to someone else. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think this story wouldn't have come at a better time for me. I think just before the meeting, we were discussing of all the things that we don't have or we are not making it, and it's a story of hope. Thank you for sharing that wonderful message that you had. Let's go with the next speaker. Would like to go next, Madhu? Over to you, Madhu.
Good evening, everyone. What is required in our life to be happy? Anyone? Money? Only money?
People?
Happiness.
People? Happiness? Health? Right? So many things is required in our life. But actually, what we are focusing on every day from the morning till we again go to the bed, we just continuously thinking about the money, and I have to go to this, and I have to do this, and I have to get promotion, or I have to increase my business, I have to open new branch, or whatever it is. Most of them are related to money. But is it money is not important? Of course it is important, correct? But thinking about 30 years or 20 years when you were childhood, are you really seen this kind of situation in your parents or ancient days? Of course, they also done the business and doing the job. I still remember that my grandfather, my mother's family, everyone is employees. My father's side, everyone is business people. And I have seen two kind of behaviors in the thing while I grow up. And here I wanted to say that when a small kid, what impression he'll have in his mind, when he was like growing like second class, third class, fourth class from his life. Let me tell you my story. My grandfathers, they're well financially settled and a very good name in a village, good properties and everything is there. But I know when I'm letting like getting all the things. No, I understood that just money making is only not important, and you have to teach your children also the same kind of thing, like not only the money making, all the good things, how to keep that money and grow. It's not like, if I earn 10 crores, I don't know if I don't give the proper education, or else I don't mean the education, real academic education, you know, how the world is happening, how we have to survive, and what are the things required to be happy and grow, even, without any issues with the financial thing. We have to teach. Why I'm talking about this? After my grandfather expired, all our family things are collapsed. I mean to say that it's like not only the financial thing, because my father, my chacha, no, they're not able to manage all those things. They have done a lot of good, good things by looking at outer world, But inner thing, lot of losses or lot of relationships broken in between, all those things happen. But then I realized that it is as a father or as a family head, we have to teach to our children. Even now, you're earning 1 crore or 10 crores, but not only that, you have to give the values, and we have to share the importance, how to keep that, and what are the good habits, and how to treat with people, what kind of situations will come, and how to handle that. That teaching also should be there. So I feel personally I have to give that, not only money and survival thing, common sense, how to behave, what kind of things will happen. All those things I have to give to my kids so that they may grow more happier or more financially independent than me, my future generations. So I think that is also important in life. No, not only like giving, yeah, I have this much, this much, this much, but who knows that? Like, you have 100 crores, but after you went away, maybe your next generation will come to 1 or 2 crores, right? So that's my story. That is entire in my family. I have seen it, and of course, by God grace, slowly we are gaining up again. But still, I know entire my life that teaches me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhu. I think vulnerability is the face of your speech. Embracing what has been, the mistakes that we have made, and the things that we can learn from your story. Thank you for that wonderful share, wonderful idea of what all we need to carry forward to generations to come, so that it's not only what they have, but for them to have a great life ahead. It's a great input. Thank you, Madhu. Who'd like to go next? Akanksha? Sri Krishna, go ahead.
When I showed this trip, what comes to your mind?
You are sick.
Yeah. Okay, this is paracetamol. 6 years ago, I had a very bad habit of having a paracetamol for even a small headache. I used to have paracetamol like two times, 3 times in a month due to headache. It was becoming a very, very, very bad habit. I started realizing it is bad, but I wanted to stop it, but I couldn't. In July 2017, one fine day, I was going to my school, walking to my school, and my school was at a walkable distance. Sir, college was at walkable distance. I was going to my college. At that time, I was having headache. I had this trip at that time also, but I decided one thing: I will not take this trip. No matter what, I will not take paracetamol. And if I am able to survive the entire day in my college, I will be very happy. I went to the college, and somehow I struggled for the initial 2 to 3 periods. After that, I recovered well and I was able to attend the classes and came home, and I didn't take the paracetamol for that entire day, and the headache, it really went away. So now, for the first time, I got confidence. Okay, now I can stop taking this paracetamol for good. Slowly, I started reducing. Whenever I get headache, no, it was a habit. Headache, take it, eat, done. That for the first time, I think, okay, do I need it? So I started avoiding paracetamol. But here came my first challenge, which is not able to overcome. Yeah, the initial days for 3 months, probably if I am having three times in a month paracetamol, it came to 1 time. So the consumption literally reduced. But still, I felt that still one paracetamol, still a headache. I started thinking I should think of another solution. Otherwise, again, this might even increase also if I am keeping up with this pace. So in Telugu they say sonti and all. So it is a very relieving for headache. So one thing problem with that is when you apply it, it is a kind of irritation for your head. But I tried it. So let's try and see how it will be. And whenever I applied that Sonti, yeah, the irritation came. But after that, I kind of started having relief. This continued for probably now till November 2017, and after that, I got a severe headache, and I had to have it. But after November 2017, here comes the achievement. After that, in 2018, I got cold, cough, headache, all sorts of things. 2019 February, I even remember that date, February 2018. 1 hour, was it 1 year, 4 months, I didn't take a single paracetamol tablet, got like 10, 12 headaches and all, I managed it. So after that, also, whenever, even after 2019, whenever I took paracetamol, it is like, if I am taking paracetamol, it is the ultimate. I am unable to bear it. That is the time I take this tablet. Otherwise, I don't have it. Now I thank myself. 6 years ago, I changed this habit for good, and it is actually in this tablet also it is written. It is dangerous for the liver as well. If we are consuming it too much, it should be improper. So I want to conclude by saying that சாப்பாடோ மாத்திரையோ அளவா சாப்பிட்டாதான் அமிர்தம் இல்லாட்டி விஷம். So food or medicine, if you have it in limit, it is fine. If you are having as you wish, it can turn into poison. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sri Krishna. I think that was wonderfully put. Great beginning by showing that Dolo tablet, the sheet of tablet, and closing with that wonderful quote that you had to share. Thank you. I think that's a good reminder of the message that you had at the end, that excess of anything is what harms us, and a balance of everything is what can create a beautiful life. Thank you. Thank you, Sri Krishna, for that wonderful speech. Who would like to go next? Shubhadra ma'am, hi. Good to see you today. Shubhadra ma'am, are you
Hello,
there?
hello everybody. How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Uh, okay, getting along. Age
Nice.
catching up.
So, what's your story, ma'am?
I have no story. I joined late also because
That's okay. That's okay. We can still have yours.
I I really don't know. I have to go and see what the topic is and then I'll come back. Okay.
No, we are left with Siddharaju sir and Akanksha. And after that, so basically, the theme of the meeting is what's your story? Basically, we are talking of any insight or any interesting incident in your life, whether experienced or whether inspired from a story that largely or impacted in who you are today. The theme of the meeting is that. So, we are talking of those stories. People are sharing their stories about what changed their lives or what was a critical point in their life. That story is what they're sharing. So, yeah, we'll wait for you to share something.
No, I'll continue. Okay,
Okay.
good evening everybody. Let me tell you, it was the year 2000. Till 2000, I was a quiet, I hardly used to mingle. And even if I was mingling also, it was only with my close friends. And I was not the person to go actively and take up leadership roles or something like that. So one day I went to my friend's place. He was my husband's classmate. So we were just chatting, and he said, I'm now the president of Toastmasters Club. Oh my God. I said, what is Toastmasters? And toast means for me is toasting to a fellow. So I said, what is Toastmasters? And how come you became, I said, when did you join? He said, I joined only 6 months back. And how come you have become the president in just 6 months? Then, he said, yeah, I became. If you want, you can come and visit tomorrow. So the next day, he was going to be inducted inducted as the president of the Toastmasters Club. So I went for that meeting. As usual, the president, he asked all new members, okay, just go on, introduce yourself, and then let us all know why you have come to this particular meeting and how you came to know about it. I dragged my husband also to that meeting. Even though he was not interested, I said, no, you have to come. We have to see why our friend Mohan has become the president. So then I said, I just didn't stand up, nor did I answer anything. I just pinched my husband, who was sitting by my side, and I said, you get up and talk on my behalf. So he got up and he introduced me and he introduced himself to everybody. That meeting, I was really, I mean, um, I really liked that meeting, that particular meeting. I'm not finding the exact word. My enthusiasm. I found it really good, and that day itself, I decided to join the Toastmasters club, and the next meeting, and I was very annoyed with my friend because he didn't usually, Toastmasters are such people. If they see anyone, they'll say, come to a club, come and join. We have that habit. But he was not having that habit and he didn't ask me also to join the club. But anyway, I joined the club. But I didn't want to go alone, because usually the meetings used to end up till 10 o'clock in the night because we had the meeting starting at 7:30. And I said, no, my husband also has to come. So he also was dragged into that meeting and I got into it hook, line, and sinker. And that made me take up roles not just in the meeting but also as a leader. I took up all the roles in the club and then I used to assist. Because at that time we were just not even in area. Our country, Qatar, was not even an area. So I started, helping the area governors, the division governors, the district governors, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry I was helping. So finally, one day, one of my another friend who was contesting for a position, he wanted me to canvass, so I canvassed for him, and then he became the now you call PQD. Yeah, now you call him the PQD. So he became the PQD. Then he said, they had a meeting and they said, well, whom should we take as the district secretary? Now I think the administrative manager. He suggested my name. So I took it up. And that's where I became a leader in Toastmasters. But then I left it on an angry note because I rose up the ranks. I became administrative manager, a division manager, and also the public relation officer. I don't know what you call it nowadays. So everything I took up, and I became a leader not just in Toastmasters but also in our own organization, that is the Telugu Kala Samtiga. That is how I became a leader. But now I am sleeping. Over to you.
Thank you, Shubhadra ma'am. I think that was a great share. The entire storyline of how you got into it. I am sure your husband has a different story to share when it comes to his experience of how he got into Toastmasters or how you got into Toastmasters. Thank you for that wonderful share.
He
Wonderful.
loved it and he was there not as a leader. Okay, he became the area governor, but he was going on for the competitions, always competing. That's all.
Nice. Interesting. Thank you, Shubhadra ma'am. Let's move to the next speaker. Siddharaju sir, you'd like to go next or Akanksha? Akanksha, the stage is yours.
Yeah, sure. I'll go
If
now.
possible.
Give me a second. I'll need to set it up.
Okay, then Siddharaju sir, would you like to go? Okay, you're ready, Akanksha. Okay, the stage is yours, Akanksha. You're on mute.
I'm unmuted right now. Yeah. So, good evening to one and all. It's been a very long time, and I'm so glad to be here again. So, there was one question in my mind when it came back to me, when the story or the today's title of What's Your Story came back to me. I kept wondering, do I share a story from my life or do I share a story that's inspired me? And then I thought I'll share a story that's inspired me to live my life. So, this is how it goes. Imagine receiving a call at midnight that changes everything. Today is your last day. What would you do? And this is the story of a book titled The First to Die at the End. The premise of the story is what I've already shared. On people's last day, they get a call at 12 a.m. informing them about it. Initially, they are in denial. They live with the hope that maybe there's a flaw in the system. Maybe it won't be their last day. And at first, it may seem like a story that robs you of hope, that it steals all the hope that you had. But for me, ironically, it was just the exact opposite. This story made me reflect on my own life and left me with more hope than ever. It made me question the way I live and all the choices that I make in my day to day life. Because though it's the last day of the main characters, it's their best day ever. And that made me wonder, what if I got a call that told me the same? How would it make me feel? Will I feel that all of the days I've lived so far and all the restrictions that I put upon myself were for nothing? Would I leave with regrets or would I leave with peace? And would my last day only be the best day of my life? So every time I hesitate and almost take a step back from something, or I think of playing it safe, this gripping and thought provoking book comes back to me. And here is a quote: a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. It has stuck with me for a very long time. And I repeat, a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. The main lesson I've learned from this book is simple. And again, I quote, your final destination may be closer than you think. So if you got that call tonight, would you leave with regrets or would you leave with peace? Is a question we all need to ask ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Akanksha, for that very thoughtful and deep speech and the idea of the book and the quotes that you shared. I think they were each in itself an idea that hit us and that left us with a lot to ponder over. Thank you, Akasha, again for that wonderful speech. Let's move to the next speaker, Siddharaju sir. Hi, Sid. Good to see you. Hi, Dinesh Raja. Looking forward to your speeches soon. Siddharaju sir, you're mute. Are you able to unmute, sir? Hi, Sid or Dinesh? Yeah. Okay, sir. We can hear you now.
Very good evening to all. See you after a long years ago in the same platform. Initially, I did not plan for any story of mine when Rahul said, okay, after listening our elegant speakers, you may have come across to motivate yourself. That's what happened. My story starts from last June 22nd when I moved from India to Saudi Arabia, which I'm not having any idea about the local location or the temperature conditions and the weather we are going to sustain with the nearly 45 to 47 degree temperature we have to survive. So everything is a new for me. So what I learned is before visiting any country for the profession purpose, let us plan for at least 3 months in advance for the financial stability and local transportation knowledge and the native language first and most we have to learn. Anyhow, I learned Hindi while working in India very well. That was survived me here after landing from the airport to factory to my factory guest house. Everywhere I spoken Hindi because English is not the common language here. Most of them not able to understand English. Whenever you speak in English, they will listen, but they will reply in Hindi only. So Hindi has helped me in a tremendous way to survive in the initial days. Now slowly I am learning Arabic language on a day-to-day basis. This is what I learned from different global location, all the way from 4,500 kilometers away from my native. So today I'm able to go anywhere around in the city so that I can survive further. I learned many things like our elegant speaker before just because a couple of minutes they have spoken regarding gratitude, life skill, and the dependency. Dependency is not about money or the medicine which Mr. Sri Krishna has explained very well, because we depend on our own mindset. No, we will not go anywhere. Okay, somehow like that. But when you come out of the your comfort zone, you will learn many things. So furthermore, this is my story. Thank you so much for the opportunity providing for me to share here. Thank you.
Thank you,
Vananta.
sir. It was an honor that you still delivered a speech, even though you didn't come prepared for it. And I must say, you are a elegant speaker and a very thoughtful idea of how probably change happens. Sometimes it's not
Yeah,
by choice that we are put into things, but when we are forced and we are pushed into things, we survive. I think that's the biggest lesson
yeah,
that we can take from your story, that we do survive everything that we are put across, but just that we have to trust that we will survive, and we take away
yeah,
all the learnings and all the experiences that we have brought in, and we survive
yeah.
somehow and we come out flourishing. Thank you for that wonderful story, sir. Sid and
Yeah, and all the
Dinesh.
best for all the Toastmasters. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, sir.
Sunday there is an marathon in Mysore, 100 years. I saw the information. I put it my on status today itself because we learned so many things from Toastmasters as well as JCI when we working with Uma Madam also there in the COVID time. We learned many things. This spontaneous thinking always comes from the platform like you guys when we have a network. Thank you so much for all the contribution which we learned. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sid, Dinesh, are you there?
Yes, all hi.
Good morning. What time is it there?
Yeah, good morning. So it's 10:15 here,
10:50 in
AM.
the morning. Okay, thank you. Now
Yeah,
go ahead. What's your
yes.
story?
So yeah, hi everyone. Thanks a lot for having me here on board again. So my name is Siddharth. So the reason of time difference is basically I'm not in India. So a story. I have segments and sections of stories broken in. First, let me just tell you my life. Basically my life is a fairy tale wherein I basically get up morning at 6, having a very full-fledged exercise, having a refreshing morning, just talking to my parents about regular stuff, news and all, going, just traveling a distance, sightseeing, that morning air of coldness and everything, and then going to my work, doing my work, coming back at 6, playing with my parents. Playing with my parents is maybe shocking, but yes, we do that. We practice that every day. We basically play many games like chess, caroms, etc. um then it's evening. My mom basically gets some snacks, like hot samosas, pakodis and everything. Basically I feel she's a master chef. Every child does, right? Every child does. So yeah, that's my life, wherein before, sometimes my night might have nightmares, but my day is never a nightmare for me in my life till now. Refreshing story and shocking that how can an Indian youngster have such a beautiful life, right? Let me just rephrase this whole story, just by maybe changing few punctuations and all. I get up morning at 6 just because I have to go to work. Because I have to go to work, I had to do my exercises so that, at least that day long stress can be handled. I have to travel almost 5 kilometer, 5 to 5, like travel in bus, just people around me, pushing me, traveling bus, then going to job. And over there, someone would be dominating me. Oh my God, घर में मम्मी, वहां पर boss. And then after reaching my home, my father and mom expect me to sit down and play games with them after a stress long day. Fine, अभी मम्मी पापा है तो सुनना तो पड़ेगा, right? We play, and over there my mom and dad cheat. They expect that I don't see, and I basically see all that. Then my mom makes the pakodis. My sister gets it to me. I don't know why. My mom cooks it well, but while she serves it to me, my sister serves it to me, I don't know, the taste changes. They're much saltier. Then I go to sleep. Sometimes I have good dreams, but never, my day was never a better day. It was a nightmare. So you see, the sections of the story are the same. It's just a deliverance. It's just a point of view that how you see it. So why this difference makes one of the most important aspects of our life is again because of one story. Actually, not a story, an incident that happened. So I basically in intermediate I was in hostel wherein we used to clean our clothes. We used to clean our vessels by ourselves. There was no one to help us. So in that time, when we are roommates, right, we basically fight a lot that you have not done this job, I have not done this job. I'm basically a person with OCD wherein I keep my things a bit clean and organized, is what at least I feel. My mom never feels that though. So yeah, I basically organize my things, keep them clean and all. I basically taunt others, telling that, you didn't do this and that's really very ugly sitting over there. Just remove that or clean it kind of things. One day,
Dinesha, are you there? Sid could have got a call in between, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I'm in a driving, so I felt of just to want to listen you all.
Okay. Okay. So you'd like to speak?
Uh, okay, if no one is there, I can just speak. I will just park my car outside and then I
Yeah,
can take up.
as of now, you are the only one who's left.
Okay, give me a few seconds. I just take it to the safer place.
Sure, sure, sure. Okay. In the meantime, I'll just share a few things that is my story. Like I told you, it's been ages that I've been listening to stories. So somewhere, each of the stories that I've heard have become a part of my story and something which has provided the nudge to what I am today. And each one story over the past 4 years has been an input to what I do and how I do and how I lead my life today. So one is that. But if I have to choose a few stories from the past which have really deep down changed the narrative with which I live my life, is one is a story of a famed operations mathematician named George Dancing. It's a story of him while he was young. While he was young, he had a habit of going late to the class because he overslept. And one such day, when he overslept and reached the classroom 15 minutes later than his scheduled time, he saw two equations on the board. While he saw the equations, while nobody was talking about it, he thought those were the homeworks. And he quietly noted down those two equations. And he went back home, struggling to understand what that equation is, puzzled at not being able to solve it after a lot of hard work. Eventually, he solved them. And silently, he took that homework and crept it inside the teacher's office. A few days later, the teacher came back to his house at 6 a.m. in the morning, perplexed of what this kid had done. And that's when he was surprised if he had done some fundamental error and completely messed up the equation or something which was wrong with him. And that's when the teacher said the two equations which I had written on board on that day when you had arrived late were the two equations that were unsolved by Albert Einstein. And you, my dear, have solved those two equations. Now, here, if you look at this situation, it teaches us the power of thinking, of the limits that we put on our thinking in anything that we want to do. Imagine George Dancing had reached that class at the right time and he would have known that these are the two equations which were not solved by Albert Einstein either. Would he have even attempted to solve them? Would he not have put a label in his mind that these are not solvable and so let me not try either? And that's where this one idea deeply moved me to the thought that each one of us have a great potential in the things that we can do, but are only limited in the thinking that we have, the thinking that says you can't do. And that's where this entire initiative of living life was started, with this idea somewhere deep down that we can inspire someone to take the next step. We are not talking of transformations. We are talking of taking or helping people one step at a time. And if you can motivate or inspire someone to do that, that's all you need to do, because that's when people start to believe that if I can take this one step which I did not think of, there are far many steps that I can start taking care of, which I think I cannot do today. And that is one story that has always stayed close to me, to talk about the power of the human mind and what is possible and what is not possible, largely being curated by the way we think. So this story has worked as an input for me, or as an inflection where I started to believe that at every point in time, it's our thinking that defines our possibilities more than the limitations that the world puts us in, or the situations that put us in. So that was one story that I felt very close to, and which has helped me largely in my life. Thank you. Let's move to Dinesh. Are you ready?
Yes, not enough full preparation, but
That's okay.
Okay, I just took this topic on my own, a different way. First of all, good evening to all. I didn't expect that the topic can be spoken in this many ways. That is self-inspiring. And I have been attending one of the other meeting, and then I had to skip it and come and attend this also. So I know that I'll be having a lot of potential. This is what, because this stories, I always think in two sort of things. One is that the stories I'm hearing around me on a daily basis that really inspires me, and I'm fortunate enough that I'm being with a positive people, and it is always motivating me, and this is helping me to see what reality. I want to tell you one thing that after my college, I was looking for a job opportunities, and that time I met my uncle, who is my mentor, and he asked me to. He found that I'm struggling to communicate, and he asked me to narrate a one story. The story is nothing but crow, how it got that water by putting the pebbles into the uh, bottle or tumbler, right? I hope all of you remember this story which we have studied in our school days. He just asked me to do a simple thing. Dinesh, explain this story in English. Firstly, I just started stumbling in terms of using the English language. I started to look for the words. He asked me to repeat the story again. I literally did the same story, delivering by 5 times on the day. Then he said, okay, you prepare this again in your home and come back and then deliver the same story again in a better way. I went back and I practiced a lot. Next day, what happened is like today the crowd is different. My niece, nephew, my sister, mama, and few more on the same podium. He asked me to explain the same story. So I come to know it is challenging. And the next day, he asked needs to explain, needs to do the same story delivery, and everyone over there delivered the story in a different way. Then I come to know, okay, then I come to know that uh, it 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 is all about how we are delivering, whom we are delivering. That makes sense. It is it, that is that one moment I come to know, okay, one story can be told to people in a different way. Same, I started to implement in my life, and things got changed a lot. So the way I'm interacting with my manager, my family, my friends, the content can be the same, but how you are delivering to each and every person, I have to sometimes put myself in their shoe to understand that, okay, how are they listening me, or how is their mindset when they're listening me. So that helped me a lot in terms of communication. I believe I'm not a better communicator, but I believe I have empathy when I'm talking to others. So this one story suddenly come to my mind by seeing the topic. Over to you.
Thank you, Dinesh. I think it beautifully sums up the entire idea of people understanding things and people knowing things. We know a lot of things, and I think with the way Dinesh explained that how it was told to him to repeat that story 5 times and then come back and tell the same story, do it again and again and again, and then he realized the power of how are you delivering a story. And that's where the learning is. I think we all have great stories, but the way Dinesh realized about the power of how of a story is something that is what makes him different. Now, that's something where he learned it, and that is probably where he learned the importance of the narrative of how we deliver a story, and probably that's where he is today. The reason why he is where he is today. The question is, we all come across same instances in our life, similar experiences in our life, and yet each one of us take out something different from each of those experiences. And probably that's what we need to reflect on with the stories that we experience. It's not absolutely those stories in itself, it is what happens in you from those experiences, from those stories, that makes the entire difference. And that is where I believe as a child, when we are born, the experiences, the environment, and all the situations that we go through, it's not that we are that unique. We all have a shared commonality in the stories that we experience, and yet each one of us becomes a different person based on how you're soaking in the story. It's how the narrative, like we don't have him back again, we don't have Siddharth back again, but the entire idea that Siddharth was also mentioning is the same thing. It's not what is, it's how it is being interpreted and how it is being seen. The narrative that you're creating is what is making the entire difference. Probably that's the learning that we have had today from Dinesh. Thank you for that wonderful share. Anyone else would like to share anything before we come to an end for this meeting? Any other story that you came across from someone's share that, okay, this is something which now I think back was an important story in my life too? Anyone would like to share anything? Because we have time, we can still have another share from you if you have got across any instance in your life or any experience that you have had that you want to share again. Anyone? One?
Yeah, I would like to tell a story which I listened recently.
A bit louder, ma'am.
Am I audible now? Yeah. So there was a man who was running to catch a train, and he was wearing a Nike shoes, a costly one. And as he boarded the train, one of his shoes fell down, and then he was wondering what to do. And in a span of a moment, he threw the other shoes also. And people were wondering, what is this? Already he has lost one shoe and he is throwing the other one also. And that is when he said, what will I do with one shoe? At least let the other person get the other one. So when you give happiness to others, you also get happiness. So that is the takeaway from this story. So if you want to get happiness, share happiness to others. What a beautiful story it is. So keep spreading happiness to others, and in turn, you will get happiness. That is the joy of giving. And Deepavali is near, so spread cheer to everyone. Buy from local vendors instead of going to malls. Buy small lamps and spread cheer and happiness and joy in everyone's lives. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. As always, you have the cherry on the cake. Somewhere down the line, you always have something which suddenly takes us in a different league of thinking, and the story that you add is inspiring. Thank you. We have Sid back again. Let me just check. Sid, are you there?
Yes, hi guys. I'm sorry. There was this collapse of internet and all.
Okay, okay. So, where do you want to begin?
I'll just begin it where I stopped. I'm sorry for the suspense. I remember I just told a line that one fine day and it just got cut. So yeah, sorry for the suspense. So yeah, please don't expect any Kattappa. Why did Kattappa kill Bahubali kind of endings? It was a very lame ending actually. So yeah, so being the suspense, what happened was, as I said, I was acidic and everything was happening cool. And then one day I was completely, done with that intermediate syllabus. And like every kid, I was not like every kid. So I liked mathematics. Because I liked mathematics, I have to dislike something. That's why I hated chemistry. So yeah, there was a very strict chemistry teacher on our lecturer board, and he was like, he basically had a whole day of he had tensions in his life. Basically, he wanted to share it to us. So he made our life miserable on that day. And after that long, stressful study hours, when I came home, I saw, like, basically the plates were there, they were not cleaned and all. And once my roommate just walked in, I basically lashed out because my chemistry teacher gave me attention. I had to give it to someone else. That's why I just gave it to them. So, and end of the day, they just kept listening to me. They just kept listening to me. Next day morning, when I basically came to my senses on that day, I realized that the plates were actually kept by me because I had to rush to my classes, and I scolded them. Next day, when I asked my friend that, that they were not your fault, like it was mine, and I was shouting on you, then why were you quiet? You could have just interrupted me and told me that. He just gave me a smile and he told, dude, if I was someone else, I would have, but I'm your friend. I understood that you had a hard day on that, that specific day was hard for you. That is a reason you reacted in that way, which you basically don't. So I understand. It's just a different point of view. On that day, it made me a spark that, yes, of course, like he had the power to think in my point of view that I had a bad day. So that's why he basically gave his reflex. He didn't give any reflex and basically just stayed calm, which basically handled the situation in a much better way. Which where he, if he would have started something else, I would have taken out something else, and basically it would have got up a fight. So on that day, I understood the power of point of view. So yeah, that's the story which gave me the essence of point of view. Being cool and calm is always better. Understand the point of view of others before speaking was the mantra that I have learned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. I think point of view that's going to be there for a long time. Thank you for that
Mm.
wonderful, humorous way of sharing the narrative that you built and getting that point across. Very well done, Sid. Thank you for always, from wherever you are, in whichever part of the world that you always keep coming back to the stage and sharing wonderful stories with us. It's an honor that you
Thank
always coming back. Thank you for that.
thank you for having
That,
me as well.
anyone else would like to share anything before we close the meeting for today? Anyone else would like to share anything?
I would just like to share this thing. I mean, to everybody, I would appreciate Rahul for always, with a very good dedication, sending me messages. Even though he knows that I'm not in India, he always sends me the invite. I'm really honored for that, Rahul. Thanks a lot. Basically seeing that message, I feel that there is someone in India other than my parents also who remembers me and shares me these invites. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I think, thank you for acknowledging that. I think somewhere deep down, it's a connect that we built over the years from the stories that we heard, the stories and the experiences that we all have a common sharing now of. And that brings me to the story of why I do that before I close the meeting for today. There's this video of Michael Phelps, where he talks about he's one of the world's greatest Olympian, one with over 24 Olympic gold medals, and where he talks about how for over a period of 5 to 6 years he did not skip his swimming practice for even a single day, come what may. Christmas, New Year Eve, birthday, anniversary, whatever it is, he never quit his practice. He was in the pool every single day. And somewhere deep down, when I look at that story, I feel to achieve that amount of greatness, what are you putting yourself into on a day in and day out basis? And somewhere when I look back at my journey of Speak Up Club, for the connections that I've made, for the stories that I've shared with a lot of people over the past 4.5 years, it's been like a duty for me to make sure that I stay connected with those people who care and those people who matter. And that's where I've been constantly engaging with the people who have made a part of reverting with their kind of gratitude for the connection that we have built. And that's what I send these messages for. And looking at the 206 meetings that we have had until now of the Speak Up Club over the past 4.5 years now, it is this inspiration that I have from the Michael Phelps story of being in the pool day in and day out without a skip. That is what possibly has driven me to do the things that I do, despite there are days when I falter, there are days when I start to doubt, there are days when I question how much more, how much more longer. And yet I keep coming back every time, rising every time after I've fallen, with the hope that there will be one day where it will all come to make sense that this was all worth it. So that's a story that I had from the experience. Thank you, Sid, for acknowledging the effort. And it's lovely that when people see of what we do and revert with the same amount of gratitude that we carry. Thank you for that. And with that, we come to an end for today's meeting. It's been a great meeting with listening to stories, some really varied story about different aspects about life, from the medicines of Sri Krishna to Uma Ma'am's gratitude to Poonam's story about Toastmasters and lifting herself up with courage, to Madhu's story, to Siddharaju's impromptu idea of what he wanted to share about the experience of how his life has changed because of a change. Sid's always humorous and insightful talk, Dinesha's story, Akanksha's idea of the book, and how you have an idea behind what if you're not waking up tomorrow? Do you have still any regrets? And Shubhadra's story of the entire lifetime of Toastmasters and how she became a leader by experiencing all the things that she went through. These are stories that all I'm going to carry for a long time. And I think somewhere any mention of any single word of any story anywhere is going to give me a cross connection to your story. I'm going to share that proudly, with pride, that I heard this story from someone somewhere in the Speak Up Club family. So with that, we come to an end for today's meeting. You all have been a great audience. Thank you all for sharing those wonderful stories. Looking forward to seeing you all in the next open mic online one again. And if you're in Hyderabad, looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow in the offline meeting that we have scheduled in Hyderabad, High Tech City. So a request for all of y'all, if you are in Hyderabad, do join us for the offline meet. And if you have any connections in Hyderabad, do share with them about the platform that we have, about the opportunity that we have to share our stories, to experience the stories that everyone has to share. That's what we do at the Speak Up Club. A platform for everyone, a platform for the common one and the extraordinary one, equally for all. With that, signing off for today. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. See you all next Friday, the next month's fourth Friday.